Hi everyone, this is Nate, and today we are continuing our series on the Tarot, the major arcana. And I certainly appreciate all of you who took the time to watch the episode on the Wheel of Fortune. I am using this book, The Way of Tarot, from Alejandro Jodorowsky. And basically, if you watch the first episode, you actually don't need to watch this first episode to watch this second episode. They are very independent. But what I'm doing is I'm choosing a major arcana or picking a card and then starting a conversation with them. And so we are going to be doing this today. I just don't know which card I will be choosing because I will be doing this live and then work with you to kind of go to the deeper understanding of the card and then try to understand the different layers and engage intimately with the card um, to see what they have to say. So I have my Marseille Tarot, and I am gonna see what the card is today. Which card, which archetype wants to come up today? And we have justice. Justice. So, like I did last time, I am going to pull the book and work with you on getting a deeper understanding of justice. First of all, there are two keywords that come with justice. We have balance, obviously, balance and harmony, as well as perfection. But it's not perfect. I don't think anyone would say that justice is perfect, but it thrives for perfection. This is the number 8, and this is true. This is the peak of even numbers. There's nothing higher than an 8 from 0 to 9 in that first cycle. And so, being the peak, it is also the accumulation of the 2, the establishment on the 4, the discovery of pleasure of the 6, and at 8, there is nothing left to add or take away. The number 8, an Arabic numeral, is formed by 2 superposed circles: perfection in heaven, perfection on earth. The 2 circle, a perfect circle and a perfect circle, heaven and earth. In numerology, this is also the double of the 4, a double square. Stability in the material world, stability in the spirit world. It's a symbol of fulfillment. The justice balances our lives with her scale. But balance and perfection are not synonymous with symmetry. Just as the sacred art of the cathedral builders rejected the symmetrical as being diabolical, the card justice is structured asymmetrically. It's not a perfect symmetry. It's true. Not a perfect symmetry. The pillar to the right of her throne, yep, is higher than the one on the left. A little bit higher of the 2 pillars. Her necklace is a little bit higher on the left. The plates of the scale True. They're not on the same horizontal line. And look at the size of the scales. They're not exactly the same either. You feel that the scale is not exactly going right, going straight up, going equal. Interesting. I've never noticed that before. The, the, the necklace is not perfect. The pillars are not perfect. The scales are not perfect. And yet we expect perfection. The sword is not parallel to the column of the throne. Yeah, it's not exactly parallel. Small differences. If we study the movement of the scales, we can see that justice is influencing it with her right elbow and her left knee. Right elbow and her left knee. It sounds like a trickery. It sounds like an influence. What should be perfectly equal is not. Justice is influencing slightly the result here. It could be interpreted on several levels. Of course, it could give us the sense of injustice. It's been manipulated. Justice is not just. Justice is not fair. A sense of false perfection. And could be indicating in certain readings a sense of ruse, pretending it's fair, but it's not, particularly if you read reversal and the card comes reversed. It's also possible that by this gesture, the justice is inviting us to avoid perfectionism. Yes, trying to be a perfectionist or everything perfect would definitely be counterproductive. We can thrive, but what is perfect? We certainly are not perfect as humans. Is justice a reflection of humans? Justice is made by humans. Our justice consists of judges that are humans. If you look at a popular jury, they're all based on humans. We are not perfect. How would justice be perfect? The requirement for perfection is unhuman, as what is perfect is set and unsurpassable, therefore dead. If we're alive, we're not perfect. If we're on this earth, we're not perfect. Justice on this earth cannot be perfect. Justice, she, so woman, would be inviting us to then substitute it for the ruse, the notion of excellence that permits action to be dynamic, can change, and perfectible. Finally, it's plausible that the uneven nature of the plates of the scale display the instability that is proper to nature, and that she is giving it support inspired by divine mercy. In this sense, justice is profoundly human. We just discussed this. We want a perfect justice. Look at the contrast and the paradox. We want a perfect justice, but we want a justice that is human. So we're asking for something that can't be achieved, since by definition, humans are not perfect. Her flesh-colored hair and her robe burying itself in the ground connects her deeply to the terrestrial plane. She's also a point at which the human and the divine meet. She has a band around her forehead, the contact with divine purity, a crown that represents the third eye, which is very interesting to me because it talks about intuition, the third eye, but we expect justice to be logical, to be cold, but human. A lot of paradoxes here. We put a lot of expectations in justice to be human, to be logical, to look at the facts. But yet, there is something connecting justice to the divine, to a sixth sense, to its intuition. We can hope that the third eye that's represented here connects her with the divine, gives her supreme support, an intelligence received from the universe. She's seated very firmly on her throne with all of her attributes, the sword, the scale. She's facing us directly. Like the sun and the judgment from the angel on the judgment card will also look at us directly. Justice invites us to undivided introspection, looking at us directly, introspectively, going deep dive into the past, not the past, the future, but the present. Our eyes look like us like a mirror, like a call to realization. The card, first and foremost, involves dealing justice to ourselves, to give ourselves what we deserve. So we deserve justice. We deserve to give ourselves justice. We see a lot of purple here. It's the color of wisdom. Justice is moved by wisdom. We see colors representing spirituality, the bluish color. Interesting. See how her hand, you see her hand here. Like this almost. It's a gesture, maybe acting like this, like a mudra. The four fingers of the hand representing the governing centers of the human being, thoughts, emotions, desires, physical need. They met together at the thumb. So this is a message of unity. All the four levels, thoughts, emotions, desires, physical needs, come together. Justice can be seen as the witness of our inner God. We evaluate ourselves constantly without any filter, without any makeup. Shall we be just in the way we deal with ourselves? We're being looked at deep, like a mirror. How do we view ourselves? How do we evaluate ourselves? Are we fair in the way that we look at ourselves and others? There's a deep introspection energy here. It's a very, very, very strong female energy, almost as like the moon. I never really realized that. Very feminine. It's a strong woman figure. It holds a strong desire for perfection. We discussed that. It's almost like we're being looked at if we're making any mistakes. It's true that the justice often refers to state institutions such as courts, police, administrative office, where decisions are not easy to be appealed. And they make decisions on threats of punishments or guilt. In a positive manner, her qualities of balance, her spirituality, her clarity can be very, very useful. Imagine that balance, spirituality, clarity. The lesson of justice, with her sword and scales, is to give oneself exactly what one deserves, while implacably removing oneself from what one does not want. She teaches how to say yes and no, to distinguish subjective from objective. To achieve this, she knows how to put herself in the shoes of others. So we're saying that she is an empath. She has empathic abilities. So we are getting now into the part where in this book, the card speaks. So this is kind of the exciting part. If justice spoke, what would justice say? There were spirit there where spirit has the same dimension as matter, there where you do not know whether density is the root of ether or whether ether is a midwife of density, there in this infinite and eternal balance is where I dwell. So we talk about at the midpoint between the earth and the divine, the midpoint. The fulfillment of the universe is my justice, that it may give to each galaxy, each sun, each planet, and each atom the place it deserves. Thanks to me, the cosmos is a dance. Every birth, every spiral, every dying star has its place in the universe. I permit every being to be what it is. Every piece of dust, every comet, every being, every human being deserves to achieve the tasks given it by the supreme law. So it's looking at, this is really interesting. At the starting point, justice doesn't judge you for being. I mean, this is really fascinating. Justice judges you on what you did, on your behavior, on your actions. But as part of who you are as a being, it's one of the most tolerant and accepting energy. The slightest deviation from this decree will compel me to pronounce the supreme punishment. He who deviates shall be expelled from the present. So, very strict about looking at things for exactly what they deserve. The fairness is in what they deserve, not who they are. Imagine that. This is at the core of so many things today. It's not about who you are, it's about what you do. The good you do to others, I shall return to you. That is very karmic. What you do not give, I shall take away from you. When you destroy, I eliminate you. Not only shall I materially dissolve you, but I shall expunge all trace of you in the memory of the world. Wow, this is very strict. When I appear in the body of a woman, she becomes a true mother. So I know we don't always say that with justice, but this is also the connection with the moon as a mother. Giving birth is to provide a place in the here and now to infinite consciousness. I, the universal mother, take the universal mother. I love that. I, the universal mother, take my place at the explosive and monumental crossroads where the ocean of matter makes contact with the intangible soul, which disintegrates like rain to give life to every dense fragment. So it's about creation, destruction, being. This is at the very fundamental being of things. And because it's very creative, the creator is indeed a very woman-like figure, a very feminine energy, because it deals with creation and birth and being. And justice is not about being, accept you as a being, but judges you based on your doing. I am that perfection which requires no addition and tolerates no subtraction. All that I'm given, I already had. Everything you take from me did not exist with me in the first place. Each instant is just perfect. I remove all subjective intentions from action. I allow things to be exclusively what they are. I give each thing just what it deserves. To intellect, the void, the heart, the fullness of love, to sex, the pleasure of creation, to the body, prosperity, which is nothing other than health. Nothing other than health. To the fifth sense, consciousness, I give it center, that is the inner God, the very center energy. So, some of the themes here: balance, stability, confronting reality. There's this called confronting reality, fullness, feminine perfection, to collect, to welcome with open arms. The idea of pregnancy, I mean, a lot of people don't necessarily see that, but there's a connection with pregnancy here. Maternity, inflexibility, what it is. Implacability, to judge. Clarity, to forbid, to authorize, to give oneself what one deserves. Limpid thought, clarity, trial, of course, legal action and the law, the desire for perfection, a critical mind, critical thinking, cosmic laws, the connection with the universe. Remember, she is the middle point between earth and heaven. Perfection, harmony, the present moment. Yeah, we can get the sense of justice. Justice doesn't look, justice makes an evaluation in the present moment. It might have happened in the past, but this is based on the here and now. So, what have you really taken from this card? For me, really the interesting point was that heaven and earth connection, the connection point, but also I think the judging. We live in a world where I hear a lot of people very quick to say, I love this, I hate this, I love this. It feels like we always have to position ourselves to either love or hate. Where the middle ground? Where is the actual evaluation? Are we biased where we include in the way we look at things what they are versus what they did? Is that judgment a little biased? I will leave you with that. I hope this was interesting to you, this conversation with Justice, and we'll definitely continue this program. I am very excited to hear what the cards say. Please let me know in the comments what you learned. What did you think? Anything new? Please like, subscribe, share anything you want. Email me, and we will continue this journey together. Thank you.